Whether it's the refined interior or the unique smooth body styling, this vehicle will captivate your attention. Tom here with Go Auto, and next to me is a vehicle that takes a different take on the word compact. It's the 2026 Mazda CX-30 here inside the Go Garage. Now, I'm a big fan of this bold exterior design, but my favorite part has to be something on the interior actually, and that starts with this front cabin. Once you step inside this vehicle, the first thing that you notice is the overall design and textures of everything. You got really nice leather here on your dash and this suede Alcantara-like material that's really soft to the touch. It's really nice to see on the dashboard, but you can also see it here on the seats. It's got the nice gray Alcantara with white accents in the middle and off to the sides that isn't a pure white, which I really appreciate because that way if you get something on there, you're wearing blue jeans, you don't have to worry about staining nearly as easy. And something else I love too is the climate controls of all things. For starters, it's small and minimal without being too minimal, if you know what I mean. You got dials here for your temperature up and down, buttons for airflow and direction with heated seats and steering wheel down below for quick, easy access. It doesn't overload you with a bunch of things. It just does everything you need, which is great. The center console pretty much carries that same style. Your wireless charger is easy to access, which is great because the first thing you do is you take out your phone, you put it on a wireless charger. Boom, done. Out of the way, easy to use. You got your two cup holders right there with your gear selector wrapped in leather here in the middle. Pull it down for drive, over to manual, should you want to shift gears yourself, and up for park, nice and easy. Now next to your gear selector is actually your drive mode selector, and trust me, it's pretty simple. Push it up, now you're in sport mode, turn it off, now you're not. Nice and simple, I love that. Below that's also two different dials to control multimedia. The little one on the right, first off, feels really nice. It's very premium. It's your volume dial. You can turn it to turn up volume. You can also push it to the right and left, and that allows you to adjust next song and back song. Your main dial, pretty much the exact same preference. To start, you got home, back, as well as media and navigation shortcuts, all with the click of a button, which is quite nice. And as you can see, you have wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. And it's great. It's super easy to use. It takes up the whole screen, and it's also touchscreen operated, which is great. It is a little far away though, and I think that's for a reason. Because if you actually go into the main system of Mazda, this isn't a touchscreen. And that's for safety reasons, because obviously Mazda wants to keep your eyes on the road like every other manufacturer, but they take it a step further here. In their system, it's not a touchscreen. You got to use the dial, which is nice, but also if you have it available for Apple CarPlay, why not just make it ready for both? I digress. Next up for screens is going to be the driver's display. Now, they didn't overdo it with a big massive screen and a bunch of things thrown at your face. It's nice and simple. The left side's your tach, the right side's your temperatures, and they're both analog. You got your regular speedo, click it again for trip information, and then your assistance systems. And I love that they kept it simple and classy without being over the top. It's nice and simple. Same with the heads-up display. And yes, this vehicle does get a heads-up display, which is great. It's nice and simple, clean, and very legible, which is great to see in a vehicle at this price point. And one interesting factor as well has to be the steering wheel. Now, as the driver, this is the main thing you're going to be touching every day you get in the car. So it's got to be comfortable. And that it is. Not only does it feel very premium, but the ergonomics of it are very comfortable in the hands. And I've never really used ergonomics before in a video or talking about a vehicle, but it's what I think of with this. It's very comfortable to hold on to at 9 and 3, and all the buttons are nicely labeled and easy to use. For the most part, it's toggle operated and then buttons in the middle, but on the bottoms where you have your info, accept and end phone call, and the right side is all of your safety features, which we'll get to once we're outside the car. Now, the rear seats in this vehicle are quite nice. For starters, they're the same kind of materials, the leather on suede two-tone pattern as the ones up front, which is great to see. They're also nicely bolstered for adults. I like how there's a little bit of bolstering on the side, but actually the lumbar area is the main component on it. I really like how it really hugs your back and, basically enforces you to have good posture, which I don't really have. Overall space is pretty good too. Decent amount of foot room, knee room's okay, pretty solid though. Your child seat anchor points are actually tucked away under these plastic cubbies. I love that personally, just makes it so much easier to find them, although make sure you don't lose those little plastic things because you want to hold on to them. Center armrest here drops down to give you your 2 cup holders, which have little rubber tabs on them to keep your drinks in place. Your captain's chair seating position is quite comfortable in this vehicle, which is great to see. And up front, you do get climate air vents, and there's also ones under the seat of the front passengers. That way you get ample airflow to your feet, so that way they don't get cold. Unfortunately, there is no heated seats back here or USB-C ports. So when you go on a road trip with the kids, best to make sure those iPads are fully charged. Now, the trunk space of this vehicle is pretty generic. And that's a good thing, because it doesn't mean there's anything overcomplicating it. To start, you get a pretty good amount of space back here in terms of depth and height. I'm not sure if golf bags could fit back here on their own, but you can easily fold down these seats. There's no latch, but you can easily reach the button on the backrest to push them down. And now you can easily fit golf clubs there and still have room for check bags and carry-ons, which is great. Now, there's no 12 volt or anything back here, and you don't really need that in a vehicle like this. One thing that is quite nice is having 4 tie-down anchor points all on each corner, so that way if there's any loose items on a grocery run or anything, you can tie it down nice and easily. Something else that's pretty great too is that this trunk is power operated. So with a push of a button, it comes down all the way to a close, and you can even lock it with a push of a button. For a vehicle of this size, that's a nice feature to have. And with the back end closed, you're greeted to a minimal, clean design. I love these taillights, a little circle and a line going across rather than a full LED light bar. Just helps it stand out from the crowd in a nice tailored and polished way. Same with the emblems back here, CX-30, Sky Active, and the Mazda logo. Rather than being in chrome or black to match the vehicle, it's got this nice finish on it that just helps it stand out without being flashy, if that makes sense. And you probably also noticed all the cladding down here on the bottom for your bumper. That's actually around the entire vehicle, and for 2 good reasons. And the first one is durability. Now, we've all accidentally had paint chips or rock chips or scratches and dents on the body panels of the vehicle, and they're not cheap to fix. This stuff is durable and affordable. It's made to take a beating, which is amazing, because that way, if you accidentally get into those scenarios where you bump into something or open the door and the accent curbs a little higher up than you thought, this stuff's not only made to take a hit, but it's also a lot more affordable to fix, which is great. That also helps keep the body paint and the colorway of your vehicle looking extremely pristine. These are 18-inch gloss black wheels with Mazda logo also blacked out. And I love this because this gives it a nice classy but still sporty look to the vehicle, and that also carries into the front end as well. This vehicle just gives a complete look. To prove that, your front logo here is actually in a gunmetal finish rather than the gloss black all the way around. Gives it a little bit of standout without being too bold and flashy. Now, something else that Mazda did to help stand out from the crowd is the daytime running lights. This vehicle doesn't have them built into the headlight assembly or up top. They're actually all the way down here at the bottom in amber, which is a really cool touch. It's minimal, yet bold and classy, just like the entire vehicle. And the headlights themselves are full LED, meaning if there's no street lights and you're driving in the dark, you're still gonna have perfect visibility. And to go alongside that, this vehicle also gets a ton of safety features, most notably adaptive cruise control, which is actually built into the Mazda logo itself, rather than being a big blob or a sensor in the grille or tucked away somewhere awkward. It's hidden nicely, I like that. And the vehicle also gets standard iActive Sense suite, which is gonna be things like smart braking, lane keep assist, and on higher trims like this one, surround view camera, which is amazing to have in any vehicle in 2026. Now, Mazda also gives you 2 engine options with this vehicle. So when you open the hood, the first one you're gonna be offered is the tried and true Sky Active naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine. This is gonna be offering you 186 horsepower and 186 pound-feet of torque. It's really easy to remember. But if you're wanting something with a little more power, a little more get up and go on the highway, I recommend this, which is the same 4-cylinder except now turbocharged. This will give you 250 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque. Definitely gonna be offering a lot more get up and go. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Well, which engine's right for me? Which one should I get? And I totally get it. It really comes down to this. Are you wanting the better fuel economy or the better performance that a turbocharged engine offers? The 2026 Mazda CX-30 is a vehicle with a very unique exterior styling and an interior that'll make anyone smile. So to learn more about it, visit goauto.ca or any of our Mazda dealerships.